Okay, so I've started installing the top, and a couple of things that I did is I put some tape over the Velcro that goes between the curtain and the top, just so that it wouldn't keep getting hung up like it did. I also marked the very center of the top, and I marked it with pencil, just a really teeny little mark there. And I was measuring from, one edge of a seam to the other, and then I marked the center of it. And then underneath here, I have a marking on the center of the rear bow, and I lined it up, and I went back and forth and trying to line up the where this flap goes on this rear top frame piece, and tried to get it even on both sides so it looks kind of similar. Anyways, and then what I did is I went along with a helper and stretched, pulling it this way and stapling it from the center out, and the same on the other direction, stretching it that way and the center out. After it was all said and done, we were trying to line it up, and it just didn't seem right. So I took the staples out, and I shifted it forward, probably a quarter to half an inch, and I shifted it to the right about a quarter of an inch or so, because we were finding that the left flap that glues to the frame was really easy. It was just right there where it belonged, it seemed, without even stretching it into place at all. But the right one, you had to stretch it quite a bit. So I kind of shifted the whole top to the right. So maybe my center line measurements were off. I'm not sure, but it almost doesn't matter. It's kind of like you gotta do it to make it fit. No, I'm a novice and I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of winging it. I did a bunch of research before doing this, of course, but still, there's a lot of little details that are left out. I'm hoping most of them are common sense, and I'm able to kind of, rationalize my way through it, reason my way through it. Anyways, there was also excessive play here. Even when we were lining up this seam with the tack strip area, there was excessive play there. So I shifted the whole top forward, thinking that that's probably the only way that's going to get rectified. And I also have gone to the front and pulled, and I've pulled, here, and I'll line it up on that rear frame and eyeball it underneath and see how it lines up. And I'll go to the other side and do the same, back and forth, back and forth. And I think it's closer to being aligned properly, if not good enough. I'm going to try to restaple that rear bow again with a helper. Probably not going to stretch it quite as much as we were, because we were stretching it so much that there was this big indentation right in the center. And then we tried to go to the front to pull it to see if that concaveness would go away, and we couldn't really get it to go away. So I think when we stretch it, we aren't going to stretch it quite as tight. Also, this piece down here where it staples, I may throw a staple in down there, so that I can kind of pull the front forward, just to try to get rid of any wrinkles here. I'm not sure of any other way to get rid of that wrinkle, but of course I can't pull it this way too much, because then it's not gonna, if there's too much of a wrinkle there, I have to pull it this way to get rid of the wrinkle. And at some point in time, the Velcro wasn't lining up, and it just wouldn't have looked right. So we're just kind of going back and forth, playing with it, trying to be very careful about where I put staples, so that when I remove them, because I've been removing them a lot, so that when I remove them, the holes will still hopefully be underneath the wire on, which is the trim piece that goes over the staples.